You're one decision away from changing. Literally, you are one decision away from changing. It's a decision away.
Communication is a lost art, a lost skill, and it will separate you above 99% of the people that you're competing with in any space, in any craft, in any art form, in any career. Because communication is a skill that we are losing touch with. And I'm going to break down a lot of the myths in communication. We always hear that communication is 93% nonverbal and 7% verbal. What does that mean? What is nonverbal communication? What's verbal? How do I get good at it? Why am I good at it? Why am I the guy to tell you? Well, allow me 10 minutes of your time, which is my goal for this video, and I'll change your communication forever. So I'll right into it. I went to school and had classes on advanced public speaking, communication, leadership skills, all of the above. And in one of these classes, my professor put on the board a video of a young lady presenting. And after this 30-second clip, he asked about 5 or 6 students, what do they remember about this speech? Out of 6 people, 5 of them spoke on non-verbal comments. Her body language, her posture was bad. She was whispering. She was stuttering a lot. Her tone was very scared and nervous. And it was me who commented on her speech or the topic at hand. And the point my professor wanted to make when he asked all those different people is, it's normal for people to listen to your message and pay attention to the nonverbal. Now, I really paid attention to the verbal because everybody's comments is on the nonverbal, so I tried to be different. But I also remembered what the girl said too. But that's not normal. People will lose sight of what you said, completely forget you or what you want or what you're trying to get, ask for, or receive if you are not an effective communicator. And I never forgot that presentation because no one even cared about what the girl said. Couldn't tell you a lick of what she said, and it didn't matter. Her whole entire 30 seconds was wasted and undermined by her non-verbal communication. This picture right here is also something that was presented to us from the class, and our professor circled what was most important out of all these categories when it comes to public speaking. Now, I'm gonna apply this to everyday conversations. One-on-one conversations, public speaking, crowd control, charisma, being charismatic, having charm, seduction, all of the above. Y'all know I do this in Taekwondo. Have no fear. Taekwondo is here. Now listen. You have movement, eye gaze, gestures, posture, facial expressions, volume, tone, fillers, fluency, rate, vocal variety, pauses, attire, enthusiasm, and delivery with visuals. I'm gonna hide this for a second because I wrote down what is missing most, my top 4 of what's missing, and then my top 4 on how to improve when it comes to verbal communication. Non-verbal communication. Here's my top 4 that I see people struggle with the most, and it bothers me more than I would like to admit. Eye gaze. Eye contact is so important in everyday conversations when you're presenting in any space. Because eye gaze, eye contact, why is my ring light blocking that? Hopefully y'all can read. Eye gaze tells your audience or the person you're talking to what's important. Imagine you're on a date. You're on a date, yeah, you're on a date. I don't care if you're in a relationship, you're on a date. And the entire time you're on this date, the person is doing this. Oh yeah, because no, yeah, but no, like, yeah. Oh no, what'd you say? Oh yeah, the weather, right. Their eyes alone tell you they're not listening. They're not paying attention. They don't care. They don't respect what you're saying, nor do they value what you're saying. You communicate this back to them. Any conversation you're having. When I used to struggle with eye contact, my self-esteem was low, my confidence was low. So I used to avoid eye contact because it felt intense. Something about it felt scary. I didn't have the confidence to just sit there and just really listen to a person and look at them. But I changed the entire perspective of it in my head. It's now not even about intensity. It's not about intimidation. It's not about scary feelings that I try to avoid when I feel them within my body. To me, it's now about appreciation. It's about presence. It's about saying, I'm here. It's about saying, this is important to me. What do you have to say? I'm listening. I'm going to reflect back to you that I'm listening to you through my eyes alone. Who cares what follow-up question I have, what statements I make, what reaction I have? My eyes alone will tell you and tell me how important what I'm saying or what you're saying is within the context of this conversation. Again, no eye gaze, no eye contact, no importance. Already losing majority of the people you talk to with poor eye contact. Pauses. Number 2, big second thing that people lose and miss out on. Pauses. My grandmom died when I was 9 years old, and I haven't been the same since. My grandma died when I was 9 years old, and I haven't been the same since. And now I just, be playing the game all day, and I'm depressed, and I'll be losing my mind, and I don't even. It's a difference. It's a difference. I love you. Bye. I love you. Bye. A slight pause. It's not the biggest shit in the world. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing extremely extravagant. But it makes a difference. And I'll be watching TikToks, Reels. I see speakers, keynote speakers, by the way, people who are paid or so successful that they come on stage to speak. And I see them talk. And they remind, you compare it to how older musicians and artists used to talk back in the day, just for example, jazz musicians and performers, they had such elegance, class, swag, aura, charisma, charm when they spoke. When they spoke, it felt rich, it felt expensive. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I can react to this, I can do a follow-up video. Y'all let me know in the comments. But Barry White, Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, Prince, Rick James. I can name so many artists. This is all black artists I'm just thinking of. But speakers back in the day just had a certain elegance, a certain poise, a certain composure to them that made them very impactful. And their presence was heavy and intimate and intense. And pauses are just a small thing that they did intentionally. It shows that they took their time. It creates intimacy and impact in their message. And when you don't have pauses, it tells the other person that's listening to you, regardless of what you're saying, it must not be that intimate. It must not be that deep. We're rushing past it. Like, how important can it be? We're just blowing through it. It's not that important, right? It doesn't matter. That's what your pauses communicate. Number 3. This one probably bothers me the most. Between these two, I don't know. Because if you pause properly, at least you're talking with a sort of cadence that has rhythm to it and that has spatial awareness to it, right? You're not flooding and rushing your words out. Oh my, interrupting each other. I hate that. I hate that we do that nowadays. So many people try to talk at the same time. I can't hear you. I can't hear you and talk at the same time. So you trying to talk to me while I'm talking, we won't hear each other. We'll get nowhere. Pauses. I'm sorry. I hate it so much. I had to go back. Volume. The reason I hate volume so much when I recognize it being done poorly is because it shows a lack of context, a lack of awareness of reading the room, right? Like, imagine you were marrying someone or proposing to them, and then you were just like, hey, will you marry me? Or like your tone of voice, the volume in your voice, it's terrible. It's all off. It shows no understanding of the severity of the moment, just in your volume alone, right? You go to buy something at the store, and they say, your card declined. Do you want to try another one? You say, come on, bro. Like, you really had to put me on blast like that. Versus, do you want to try another card? It's consideration for the context. It understands the assignment. It reads the room well. Your volume is extremely important. Your volume can also pull people in, jump on them when a moment is major, or draw and create intimacy in combination with your pulses and your cadence, how you take your time, your eye contact. These three working together alone will separate you from 99% of speakers and change how you communicate. Just being aware of these three alone and getting better at those alone when you communicate. More eye contact, more pauses, and taking breaths to take your time, to be full and present within your body, and then your volume. Having your volume match the intention of the moment, the purpose of the moment that you're dealing with, right? Number 4, gestures. I added this one. There were plenty of other ones I wanted to write down here, like tone, like facial expressions, like fluency, like fillers. I went with gestures because I watched a lecture from Stanford, I believe. It was on YouTube. And 3 of the grad students were presenting. And one of them dropped a statistic on hand gestures. It said that palm up, like if you told the crowd, right? There were 3 different statistics: palm up, palm down, and pointing. Pointing had the lowest percentage of influence on the audience, statistically speaking. If I said, now everyone rise, with my palm up, 84% people respond. If I have my palm down, hey, can everyone rise over here? Can y'all rise? Everyone rise. If I say it exactly the same, just with my palm up, palm down, that 84% drops to 58%. Pointing, everybody over there, can y'all rise? Can you rise? Can you rise? Pointing had a 28% response rate and influence over the crowd. This was like a marvel to me. This was amazing to me. So I'm like, damn. It makes you consider how we feel when we're pointed at, without even being aware of it. And then I remember I sat with this, and I saw another clip, and it was a politician arguing with someone. I believe it was a Texas politician, and they just banned THC products and stuff like that. Now I don't smoke, so I don't care. But it's a problem because the guy went against majority vote, and he's just completely disregarding all the people's votes and their consideration. He's doing it to be an asshole, purely to be an asshole, by the way. And there's a clip of how badly of an asshole you can tell that this guy is. A person in the crowd asked him a question. I don't remember what the question was. But when he went to answer the question, he said, that right there is the stupidity I'm talking about. This is why we need to ban this. And it was so evident through the clip. And even it came out in his body language. He went to point, and I automatically reflected back to the clip, and I said, there it is. That's why we don't respond to pointing. You tend to point at people when you think you're better than them, when you're condemning them, when you're looking down on them, when you're berating them. That's not the only way and reason to point, because I pointed at this board, and I've probably pointed at you like 2 or 3 times in this video. Again, it's subconscious, so where it comes from, we bring it to our awareness and we improve it over time. The point I'm making is that when we feel pointed at, we feel judged, we feel condemned, and there's a disconnect there. There's a disconnect. And when there's a disconnect, there's no impact, there's no influence. In nonverbal communication, you're losing the crowd. I added gestures because I found that to be so interesting. It's little stuff like that makes a huge difference. Who knows? You can drop from 84% of influence on the crowd to 28% just by what you do with your hands. Something to think about. Verbal. Let's run through this. How do you improve your verbal communication? It's just 7%, right? Who cares about it? I've talked about the 4 most impactful things you can do to work on your 93%. Let's get to the 7%. I want to be a better speaker. What do? Record your self-talk. Genuinely, we used to do this in the public speaking class. We used to send videos and submit videos and then record us. Our teacher would always record us talk, number 1. But then he would review, take notes while we're talking, deliver those notes to us, and we'd be able to look back and watch what we said. In fact, being a YouTuber made me a better speaker as well. I remember looking back at my first video that I did a reaction to, and I was like, why am I looking at my desk so much? Why am I whispering? Why am I mumbling? Right? You could tell there was internal confusion and lack of confidence in presenting myself on camera, and it only got better over time because I started to watch myself through my career. But you can do this on your own time. Set your phone up, ask yourself a question. Look up a question online. Have a debate out loud. It doesn't have to be a long video, but sit there and look at yourself. You're going to cringe. You are going to cringe until you reach a space where you are satisfied with what you're seeing. But until you see it, same thing with singing, same thing with playing a song. You don't know how it sounds until you listen to your recording or watch a recording. You don't even know what you're doing. Now, this can get more intricate. There's things people do where they record and just watch themselves and take notes. They record and they watch themselves without volume, like they turn the audio off to see what they do physically, like how their body language moves and things of that nature. And then they also just record without visuals to just hear themselves, their tone of voice, how fast they talk, where they pause, and stuff like that. So you can get into it that deep, but start with recording yourself. Start simple. Now, number 2, this is the one that's killing my generation because of social media. We don't even Google stuff anymore. We go watch a TikTok video and hear an explanation. The problem with this is when you're not adjusting to seeing the language written, people don't even like subtitles. Reading, writing is just simply good for your brain. And it's good for your memory. It's good for your speaking skills. It's good for clarity of mind, which will turn around and make you a better speaker. Same thing with journaling. Why journaling is good for you. To be able to be aware of your thoughts, how you feel, to put that outside of you, to go outside of yourself and read and go into another person's space, it makes your mind much more understandable to yourself and understandable to the world. And you become a better speaker because of that. Now, Ty, I hate reading. Reading is boring. I fall asleep when I read. I don't like reading. What do? I don't like journaling. I hate journaling. What do? I'm going to tell you something. I used to hate reading. And I used to struggle to create the habit of journaling. I have a video on my channel where I read The Atomic Habits, and I talk about a lot of stuff I learned from that impacts me to this day. And number one thing I take from that book is that habits are built on convenience and consistency. I cannot read if I try to read at night or after a certain part of the day. I cannot read on my couch. I cannot read in my bed. I will fall asleep. I read on my back porch. I read when I go on a walk in nature or something like that. Or I have to read. This is when I'm most consistent reading. I read as soon as I wake up. I don't even brush my teeth. Roll over, grab a book. Now, I might have Patreon calls or there might be immediate business like I'm going to walk my dog. But I'll literally wake up and the first thing I do is I read. Because I'm probably so fresh off the wake up that it'll be hard for me to go to sleep, especially if I move. Like if I get out of my bed or I go in the living room, like I force myself to move. But I have to read and wake up extra early, like at least 30 minutes early. I read for 30 minutes. You might want to start with 15. I'm not trying to judge you. I just don't know where your attention span is. Be generous to yourself. Start with something small. Also, what helped me learn to read more consistently or make it a habit to where it's effortless is I read things that are interesting to me, that are intriguing to me, that trigger my curious and inquisitive self. I can't read something for the sake of reading. I won't. But when I'm learning something, when I think there's like some impactful gem to it and I'm, flexing my brain, I love reading. I love reading and finding information that changes my life. That's how reading feels to me. If it doesn't feel like that, I don't tend to enjoy it. I haven't read a novel or a story time or a Harry Potter type of a book in a long time. Could I get myself to read it? Could I enjoy it? Possibly. But I enjoy autobiographies. I enjoy listening to people's life stories, what choices they made, what mistakes they made, what lessons they learned. I love it, especially if it's an artist or somebody I look up to or admire in some fashion. I read what I enjoy, so I enjoy reading. Simple. Journaling. I didn't figure out how to journal until I figured out the time of day that works best for me. Same thing with reading. Time of day is best earliest as possible for me. Learn yourself. Also, the time of day we're journaling works best for me is at night, winding down. Go, you know, getting my thoughts and putting them on paper so I can just go to bed or as much as I can with a clear mind as possible. And then I also learned to look up prompts when I'm journaling. Nighttime prompts while journaling. Just Google that. See what you find. It'd be interesting questions that they make you ask yourself and give you prompts to answer. Otherwise, when I journal, it'll just be like, I saw a butterfly in the garden today. Like, it'll be like very descriptive, you know. And number 4, which was one of my personal favorites, practice decisiveness.
Instead of coming in,
A lot of your verbal communication is trash because there's so much fluff in it. There's so much fat. There's so much filler language. Kinda, shoulda, coulda, sorta, woulda, maybe, probably, if. All these soft terms. As Miles Davis said, get to the heart of what you have to say. Decisiveness. And when you practice decisiveness, your communication becomes more impactful, more clear, and simple. You don't beat around the bush, you don't walk on eggshells, and it doesn't come out in your language. This is why you have to record yourself. How much do you add fluff into what you're saying? It's like people would send a message and they put LOL at the end. Why do you need to put LOL? What are you saying? What's funny? It's nothing funny. Practice decisiveness. And my favorite example of this is I go out to restaurants, I go out to eat, and my friends always notice I forgot what I want to eat quick. And before they realized it, I got a compliment on this before. Like, dang, bro, you always know what you want to order. You always know what you want to eat. It takes me so long. They didn't even realize at the time when his friend said this to me, I was practicing this. I didn't know what I wanted to eat. I was practicing being decisive, thinking fast, and standing by my decision. It is what it is, accepting that reality. I was literally practicing that in real time, and I got a compliment for it. As if it were normal to me yet. It is now. But at the time, it wasn't normal. I was practicing it, and I got a compliment for it, and it was like, little do you know, trying something new. Now, anyway, hopefully, 23 minutes has changed the communication forever. Have no fear, Taekwondo is here, Dojo Sumo, and Sissan, and we live in the solar system, and when you know what he says. You dig?
set up. What book y'all feel like getting to today? I think we're gonna go back to that other book. You know what I'm saying? To my guy Robert Greensky. I'm gonna go back to Robert Green. Nobody, baby. All right, that's good like that. Yeah, there we go. Well, there we go. This is a little crooked. My represent for the Cash Money Records. You know what I'm saying? A little bit crooked, but we gonna stay on the right track. On the right track. Let's get this bullshit about to. Let's get to the money. Let's get to the money. Cool. Get to the money. Right, let's make that bitch. The penny dropper. The teardropper penny stopper. I do want to go back over this one. Lean into the grind. You only have two options, and you can't leave Jaden here alone. Keep it simple. Stop overthinking the simple things. It takes time for greatness to rise to the light. Things don't come overnight. Having a plan is just the first step. Then you need to take time to adjust once you feel your turmoil. Once you feel things getting rocky, you know it's time. You got to go ahead and adjust yourself. Can't have. Yeah, you will fail, but it's up to you to stay on your journey and not let that failure define you. Our lives are made up of our lives are made up of our thoughts, feelings, and behavior. At any time of the day, you are thinking, feeling, or doing. A good place to start with your a good place to start is with your breathing. This might seem a bit odd, but the reason that managing your breathing is an effective mindful technique is because your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are interconnected. So if you manage your breathing, the physical aspect so if managing your breathing, the physical aspect, you will also be managing your thoughts and feelings. Your breathing can slow everything down, bring you into the present moment, and give you the chance to be aware of what you think and what you feel your next action should be. Mindfulness is most easily practiced by turning everyday actions into opportunities for mindfulness. Think of activities that are a part of your life. In a typical day, having a bath or shower, doing dishes, doing dishes by hand or stacking the dishwasher, folding laundry, cleaning, gardening. These activities need doing. Not much can change that. So use them from time to time to practice mindfulness. Pick up the first plate. Feel its weight in your hands. Use your senses to fully engage with what you're doing. Feel, smell, listen to what happens. At some point, your mind will wander, your thoughts will intrude, telling you to get a move on, promoting you to think about all the other things you have to do, worrying about things that happened yesterday, making judgments, etc. Quiet your thoughts by returning to your senses. Feel that mug in your hands, slippery with warm, soapy water. What works for doing dishes, cooking, and cleaning works for gardening, ironing, walking, or driving to work. Try walk Try walking meditation. Focus on your breathing. Pay attention to the feel of your shoes on the pavement. What can you see? What can you hear? Be aware and understand the impairment nature of these processes as they unfold. Notice how your body moves as you walk with your arms swinging back and forth. Hold your bag, holding your bag, or maybe stuffed into your coat pockets. Part 2, putting into practice. The ability to think back on the past and to think about the future means that almost amongst other things, you can reminisce about good times and look forward to upcoming events. This ability is not always an advantage. Too often, your thoughts can trap you. Anger and guilt can trap you in the past. Worry and anxiety trap you in the future. But the past is gone and the future isn't here yet. Certainly, anxiety and worry, anger and guilt are painful, difficult emotions. But remember, emotions have positive intent. Even worry, anger, and guilt. These emotions are intended to motivate you, to put right a perceived wrong. The, they only become problem. They only become a problem if you let them trap you in the past or push you into the future. In this chapter, we look at mindful ways of stopping anger, worry, and anxiety from pulling you into the future. We also look at ways to move from anger and guilt that keeps you stuck in the past. Move away from the anger and guilt that keeps you stuck in the past. You will see how, rather than trying to suppress or battle with, acknowledging difficult and painful emotions can help you manage them. You can let go of past beliefs about situations or old ways of handling them. There are ways to let go of your fears and worries about the future and free yourself to focus on the present. Managing anger. In the line next to Martin was Martin's neighbor. Stefan Martin was happily told him all about her forthcoming trip to Italy. It was her turn at the counter. Martina handed her form to the attendant at the counter. He read it thoroughly, but passed it back to Martina, telling her he couldn't accept it as it had been filled incorrectly. Martina's mood changed instantly. You're joking. That's ridiculous. Martina explained. She argued with the attendant for a couple of minutes, but it was clear he was not accepting her form. In seconds, she had gone from calm to rude and angry. It's not wrong to feel anger. Anger is a normal human emotion. It's a natural response to feeling wronged, offended, threatened in some way. But whatever your anger is about, it can cause you to do things you wouldn't normally do. Be aware of the warning signs. In some situations, you can feel your anger building. Other times, you become angry in an instant. However quickly your anger manifests itself, you need to be aware of your own physical warning signs of anger. Learn to recognize them when they begin. When they when they begin. There's no need to judge these physical feelings. Just be aware of them. Just being aware of these responses is being mindful. It's a good start to slowing everything down, giving you a chance to think clearly. Whatever the physical feelings, there's no need to suppress or deny that you're angry. Simply acknowledge and take responsibility for how you feel. On May 13th, 1958, right-wing Frenchmen and their sympathizers in the army seized control of Algeria, which which was then a French colony. They had been afraid that France's society, damn, they had been afraid that France's socialistic government would grant Algeria its independence. Now, with Algeria under their control, they threatened to take over all of France. Civil war seemed imminent. At this dire moment, all eyes turned to General Charles de Gaulle, the World War II hero who had played a critical role in liberating France from the Nazis. For the last 10 years, Gaulle had stayed away from politics, disgusted with the infighting among the various parties. He remained very popular and was generally seen as one of the men who could unite the country. But he was also a conservative, and the right wing felt certain that if he came to power, he would support their cause. Days after the May 13th coup, the French government, the Fourth Republic, collapsed, and the parliament called on de Gaulle to help form a new government, the Fifth Republic. He asked for and was granted full powers for 4 months. On June 4th, on June 4th, days after becoming the head of government, de Gaulle flew to Algeria. The French colonies were ecstatic. It was their coup that he had indirectly brought de Gaulle to power. Surely they imagined he was coming to thank them and to reassure them that Algeria would remain French. When he arrived in Algeria, thousands of people filled the city's main plaza. The mood was extremely festive. There was banners, music, and endless chants of Algeria Fantasia, the French colonel's slogan. Suddenly, de Gaulle appeared on the balcony, overlooking the plaza. The crowd went wild. The general, an extremely tall man, raised his arms above his head, and the chanting doubled in volume. The cheers was begging him to join in. Instead, he lowered his arms until silence fell, then opened them wide, and slowly intoned in his deep voice, Je vois et compris. I have understood you. There was a moment of quiet, and then his words sunk in, a deafening roar. He understood them. That was all they needed to hear. De Gaulle proceeded to talk. To greatness of France, more cheers. He promised there would be new elections, and those elected representatives we will see how to do the rest. Yes, a new government, just what the crowd wanted. More cheers. He would find a place for Algeria in French ensemble. There must be total discipline, without qualification and without conditions. Who can agree with that? He closed with a loud call. The emotional slogan that had been the rallying cry in the fight against the Nazis. Everyone shouted back. In the next few days, De Gaulle made similar speeches all around Algeria to equally delirious crowds. Only after De Gaulle had returned to France did the words of his speeches sink in. Not once had he promised to keep Algeria French. In fact, he had hinted that he would give the Arabs the vote, and might grant an amnesty to the Algerian rebels. And might grant an amnesty to the Algerian rebels who had been fighting to force the French form the who had been fighting to force the French from the country from the country. Somehow, in the excitement his words had created, the colonists had failed to focus on what he had actually meant. De Gaulle had dumped them, and indeed, in the months to come, he worked to grant Algeria its independence, a task he accomplished in 1962. De Gaulle cared little about an old French colony and about what it symbolized to some French people, nor did he have any sympathy for anyone who fomented civil war. His one concern was to make France a modern power, and so he went to Algeria. He had a long-term plan: weaken the right wings by getting them to fight amongst themselves, and work toward Algerian independence. His short-term goal had to be diffuse the tension and buy himself some time. He would not lie to the colonies by saying he would support their cause, that he would call that that would cause trouble back home. Instead, he would beguile. Instead, he would beguile them with seductive oratorio, intoxicating them with words. His famous "I understand you" could easily have meant, "I understand what a danger you represent." But a jubilant crowd, expecting his support, read it the way they wanted, to keep them as at fever pitch. De Gaulle made emotional references to the French resistance during World War II. For example, into the need for for example, into the need for discipline, a word with great appeal to right wingers. He filled their ears with promises: a new government, a glorious future. He got them to chant, creating an emotional bond. He spoke with dramatic pitch and quivering emotions. His words created a kind of delirium. De Gaulle was not trying to express his feelings or speak the truth. He was trying to produce an effect. This is the key to seductive orato. Whether you're talking to a single individual or to a crowd, try a little experiment. Rein in your desire to speak your mind. Before you open your mouth, ask yourself a question: what can I say that will have the most pleasant effect on the listeners? Often, this entitles flattering their egos, dancing with their trivials. Start off with something pleasant. Everything to come will be easy. People's defenses will go down. They will grow amenable. Amenable. Amenable? They will grow amenable? Huh? What that mean? They will grow amenable. Amen? Able. Damn, that was yesterday. That's what I said I was going to do. That's what you said you was going to do yesterday, bro. I was trying to remember that shit too. I said I got something to do on Thursday. What do I gotta do on Thursday? And it just never clicked in my head. I failed on every fucking thing I meant to do today. Anytime I set up an appointment, I didn't go through with it. Well, besides the haircut was a disaster though. Fucking the Zoom call I was supposed to have with the lady ended up missing that by like 10 minutes. The training session you had with the other guy that you was gonna get some work in, you fell asleep for that. You never even went to that. So it's like, dude, you the only shit that you accomplished is fucking on GTA. Ain't even really accomplished nothing with your stream setup. All these things that you went and bought ain't even you don't even know how to use it still. You just figured out that you can figure something out with this computer. That's only thing that I came up and got good at. It's the only thing that I've actually accomplished this week is I learned how to fucking use this computer to play games on.